Imagine a world where a single threshold dictates destiny, determined solely by gender-hallowed spaces, forever beyond the reach of half of humanity. Why are some doors eternally sealed to women, while others are strictly off-limits to men? Is this merely blatant discrimination, or does a more complex interplay of power, tradition, and perhaps even benefit lie concealed behind these forbidden thresholds? Prepare to challenge your preconceived notions about separation, privilege, and the invisible forces that mold our world, one gendered space at a time. We venture beyond the surface, into the very core of why these divisions endure, and the surprising truths they expose about us all. Before we delve into these forbidden realms, what first springs to mind? Subscribe to unlock every hidden answer. Let's trace the origins of segregation, not as isolated incidents, but as a deeply rooted phenomenon. Consider ancient Greece, the cradle of democracy, yet a society where women were largely confined to the home. Their domain was domesticity, child-rearing a world apart from the bustling agora and male discourse. This wasn't mere happenstance. It stemmed from deeply ingrained beliefs about female intellectual inferiority, and, perhaps more critically, the perceived need to control their reproductive capacity. The Roman Empire, while affording women slightly more latitude, still rigidly excluded them from formal politics and military command. Religious rituals, too, were often gendered, certain deities and ceremonies exclusively male or female. As Christianity rose in medieval Europe, it further reinforced gender roles, emphasizing a woman's place as wife and mother. Convents offered an alternative, a space for intellectual and spiritual pursuits, but forever separated from the male monastic orders. Even the Islamic Golden Age, with its progressive laws granting women property rights, saw social customs restricting their public lives, mosques divided, reflecting a broader societal segregation. The reasons are varied, ranging from religious interpretations to societal norms around modesty and the protection of women, and so, spaces deemed sacred became reflections of societal beliefs. The Wailing Wall, a poignant symbol etched in history, stands divided. Men gather on one side, women on the other, separated by tradition, by a desire for focused, uninterrupted prayer. Within mosques, a similar narrative unfolds. Women often find themselves in designated areas, perhaps a balcony overlooking the prayer hall, or the rear of the space. These spatial arrangements are dictated by interpretations of scripture, the delicate dance between modesty, devotion, and deeply held beliefs. Yet, these divisions are not exclusive to Abrahamic faiths. Consider Mount Athos, where, for over a millennium, women have been forbidden entry. A sanctuary dedicated solely to monks, their spiritual pursuits were believed to be too vulnerable to the presence of women. Or the Sabarimala Ayyappan temple, where the bodies of menstruating women were once considered impure, a disruption to the celibate deity's energy. Though the ban has been overturned, the echoes of that belief still resonate. Even ancient traditions reveal this enduring pattern. The Kotosh of Peru, their rituals segregated, their very architecture hinting at distinct roles for men and women in communion with the divine. The reasons behind these divisions are varied, deeply rooted in cultural and religious contexts, and constantly evolving with time. From Peru's Kotosh to our present day, cultural norms profoundly sculpt the architecture of our lives, subtly dictating who belongs and where. Consider Mount Athos in Greece, a monastic sanctuary, where the exclusion of women since 1046 AD isn't merely tradition, it's a spiritual cornerstone, believed to safeguard the monk's spiritual purity and unwavering devotion. Contrast this with the Umoja village in Kenya, a haven forged by women, exclusively for women, a defiant and necessary response to the scourge of sexual assault and patriarchal violence. Here, segregation transforms into a shield, a sanctuary where women rebuild their lives and redefine their identities on their own terms. Even within religious orders, the story unfolds in nuanced and often surprising ways. Among certain Sufi orders, separate spaces for women aren't about subjugation, but rather empowerment, offering a vital platform for female spiritual leaders and the flourishing of unique spiritual practices. Meanwhile, in Lome, Togo, the Amagbale Sacred Grove stands as a powerful testament to female spiritual authority, a place where only women are permitted to perform specific, sacred rituals. These spaces, whether restrictive or liberating, reflect deeply ingrained beliefs and societal values. The former ban on women driving in Saudi Arabia, justified by some as a means of protecting women and preserving social order, starkly underscores how cultural interpretations of gender roles can manifest in tangible and often limiting restrictions. And as the haunting legend of Rozafa Castle in Albania poignantly suggests, beliefs about sacrifice, property, and gender can be intertwined in the most unsettling ways. Ultimately, these examples challenge us to confront the complex and ever-shifting interplay between tradition, identity, and the roles we assign to each other. But is this safety real, or merely a comforting illusion? UN Women's 2017 report paints a grim picture: 87,000 women intentionally killed worldwide, a staggering number, with over half victimized by intimate partners or family, violence exploding within the very walls meant to offer refuge. The European Union echoes this disquiet, with studies revealing that 1 in 3 women have endured physical or sexual violence since the age of 15. Japan's introduction of women-only train cars, a direct response to relentless groping on packed commutes, underscores a desperate search for secure spaces. Yet, critics contend that such segregation subtly reinforces the problem, perpetuating the notion of women as inherently vulnerable and in need of constant safeguarding. Perhaps the true solution lies not in separation, but in confronting the underlying causes of insecurity. Research indicates that enhanced street lighting, conscientious urban planning, and community-driven initiatives, such as UN Women's Safer Cities for Women program, demonstrate greater effectiveness in crime reduction than mere spatial division. Even within education, studies on all-girls schools present a nuanced and debated landscape, where benefits like heightened confidence and academic performance remain subjects of ongoing scrutiny. Are we genuinely forging safer havens, or merely strengthening the bars of a beautifully decorated cage? From beautifully decorated cages, we now turn to the more profound question of power: who truly benefits from these divisions? Are they merely relics of a bygone era, or carefully maintained structures meticulously designed to perpetuate existing inequalities? Consider the smoke-filled rooms of exclusive men's clubs, the boardrooms where the resonance of male voices dominates. Historically, these spaces have served as the very engines of economic and political dominance, environments where access and influence are subtly, yet decisively, denied to women. A stark reminder of this reality lies in a 2014 Catalyst study, which revealed that women held less than 20% of board seats globally, a chilling statistic that exposes how these seemingly innocuous spaces can, in fact, reinforce systemic exclusion. But the narrative is far from simple. In contexts marred by violence and discrimination, women-only spaces, from ancient mikvehs to modern shelters, offer crucial sanctuary, empowerment, and a vital chance to rebuild shattered lives. Even the beguines of medieval Europe provided women with a haven, a space free from the constraints of marriage and convent life. And what of powerful movements like the Soweto Women's March, a resounding testament to the strength of women uniting and demanding change? Or the subtle segregation within religious spaces, such as some Islamic mosques, where separate prayer areas can become fiercely contested battlegrounds for visibility and participation. Even within the isolated regime of North Korea, the ubiquitous rhetoric of equality clashes sharply with the stark reality of rigidly gendered roles, subtly reinforced through deliberately segregated spaces. These are not simply lines drawn on a map, but rather, critical battle lines in the ongoing, complex struggle for true equality. So, as we've journeyed through spaces sculpted by gender, from the contested grounds of religious sanctuaries to the perceived safety of women-only havens, and the ancient traditions of indigenous tribes, what profound truths have we unearthed? The lifting of driving bans, the breaching of temple walls, these are not mere isolated triumphs. They represent seismic shifts reshaping a long-fractured landscape. Yet, even amidst our celebrations of progress, persistent shadows linger: guardianship laws, enduring monastic traditions, the subtle perpetuation of stereotypes within segregated education. Perhaps our true challenge lies not in dismantling every wall, but in deeply understanding why they were erected in the first place. It lies in reimagining a future where space fosters equity, not division, where tradition honors both heritage and progress, and where safety doesn't demand the forfeiture of freedom. What historical, cultural, or societal factors do you believe most significantly contribute to the creation and maintenance of gender-segregated spaces? Share your insights and join the conversation below.